Okay, so in this video, I'm going to tell you how to self-host both n8n and Flowise on the cloud using any virtual machine. So the first thing is we'll be following this guide. I'll be putting the link of this guide. This guide is to download and install n8n using DigitalOcean. I'll be using DigitalOcean. You can use Google Cloud or any other hosting solution. If you install DigitalOcean using the link in the description, you'll be getting $200 as a welcome trial. Name my project tutorial and a description. Once you have created your project, you need to go to the manage menu and then click on droplets. Create a droplet, any of these which is nearer to your location. So I'll just use maybe San Francisco. In marketplace, you have to do the Docker on Ubuntu. Select this and then basic plan, regular type, which is $6 per month. Then it's better to get the SSH key method. I have already a SSH key created, but for this tutorial, I'll make a new SSH key. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is just copy this tutorial. Read the SSH key ID which you have got. You can copy this and then paste, but here you have to do your, like I have done tutorial. Tutorial.pub. This is my SSH ID. And then here you'll add the key content. And name will be, I'm giving tutorial. Add SSH key, then tutorial droplet. Okay, so now that we have our droplet created, we have created our SSH keys. Now I have multiple SSH keys. So if you also have multiple SSH keys, you have to add them so that for different droplets, you'll be using the different SSH keys. For that, what you want to do is you can paste this code to start the agent, and then you want to SSH add your both the keys. So I'm going to add them. Then I also want to add the other key. Once your SSH keys are added, you need to make a configuration file. You can completely skip this step if you only have one SSH ID, and you can continue with the later part of the video. I have multiple SSH keys, so I have to do this. Now I have to make a new config file. At the top, you have to write your droplet name, host. For hostname, you will be writing your IP address, user will be root, and the identity file will be the name of the SSH key. Okay, so once you have created the config file, you just need to SSH in the droplet. Then just do yes. Now you have logged in into your root. You don't want to do things in the root. You'll create a new user and you'll do things in that username. So just do add user, new username. I can just do n8n underscore Flowise as the user. Type in the password. Enter for default. Enter for default. Now we have to give administrative privileges to this. So we'll do user mod sudo n8n underscore Flowise. Now follow these commands. We'll give sudo privileges to this user as well. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is we want to also be able to SSH into the new user which we have added. We will copy our public key. Just copy this whole. In the droplet as a user, do su your username. Here you can see that it is logged in as the user. Make a directory SSH and 700. Just follow these commands. Authorized keys. Now you have to insert the public key here and then Control X and Y and press enter. The key is added. Now 600 authorized keys. Now just exit. Now exit again. Now we will also add the new user in our config file. So nano config, copy and paste. User, we use the same key, but droplet user. We can just do this. Hostname we can change. And then SSH tutorial droplet user. See, by adding this, we have straight away connected to our machine, the virtual machine, the droplet. Now, whatever we will do, we will install the things in this virtual machine. So let's proceed to the main steps now. Now, the next step is to clone the GitHub repository of n8n and caddy. So cd into n8n docker caddy, sudo docker volume, create caddy data, write the password, then again sudo docker create n8n data. Now the next step is the DNS. We are self-hosting, but we need a domain name. You can have a domain hosting provider, any domain hosting provider, Squarespace, GoDaddy, or Namecheap, any. And you will need to go in your DNS settings. Add an A record. It will be n8n. You can copy your IP address and paste it here and save. And it runs as a web application, so you need to allow incoming access to traffic, and it uses two ports, port 80 and port 443. Sudo you allow 80 and sudo ufw allow 443. So these two ports are opened up now. Now we have to go to the .env file. So the directory will be /home/ your username, which was n8n_flowise.co, whatever domain name you had, subdomain is n8n, and also write the SSL email. That's it. The Docker compose file. Both the Docker containers of Flowise and n8n to work simultaneously is to make them run on the same network. To make them run on the same network, this is what we are going to do. Everything, all the containers, the caddy, the n8n, add a networks, and you can name it any, like I've named it subnet. For n8n, comment the ports thing. n8n also, we'll again use subnet as the internet. You can use it here. At the bottom, you have to add the networks, and it's a driver, bridge driver. So these things are very important. Your Docker compose is done. Now you have to configure caddy. So nano caddy config and caddy file. Now in the caddy file, you need to do n8n dot your domain name. Copy all this. Again, for Flowise, you have to do the same thing. Flowise dot your domain name and copy this. This is very important. Now our n8n is ready, so we just need to start the container. Sudo docker compose hd. It will start building the n8n and caddy. This will take a few minutes. Okay, so once it's done, .ns.co, your domain name, and it should start working. So congrats, your n8n has started working. Now we need to do Flowise. Go to your home. Now our Docker is already installed, so we don't need to do those things. In this tutorial, you can jump straight to the git clone the repo and space this. Once it's done, do cd, copy this command, paste. Then you have to make changes to the environment file, copy, paste. Now, if you want, you can also enable LangChain Smith tracking so that you can debug whatever you are doing in Flowise. To do that, you can go to and then sign up, get your API keys. Once you get your API keys, you just need to paste these values. Here's the API key and here's the project name. I'm not doing this because this is just a tutorial. Now we'll save this. One more thing, here you can also determine your username and password. You can get all these values of what all variables you can do. There's an example file. Here these are all the things like LangChain, debugging, debug true, Flowise username, password, and all these. You can play with these. Like the tutorial says that at this job you are done, you can just do the Docker compose of -z. But we need to make some changes. We need to do the network thing, which I was saying. So we need to open the Docker compose.yml, add the networks, add the networks here. Once you do this, save up -g, it will start Flowise. And you need to make another entry in your host. For Flowise, you have made it for n8n, but you also need to do it for Flowise. So another add new record. A record, Flowise, and your IP address and just save. So it will take a couple of minutes. It is done. Now we can do a quick docker ps -a to see which all containers are running. So we have a Flowise running, the caddy is running, and n8n are running. Then we can do inspect underscore some net. So here we have gotten which all containers are on this network. So Docker Flowise and n8n Docker caddy. So they are on the same network. So that means now if we check Flowise, this is working now. So this was a quick tutorial on how you can self-host both n8n and Flowise and run them simultaneously on the same machine. So thank you so much for watching and hope you get success in your self-hosting journey. Good luck. Enjoy.